Hi everyone, I'm Jodie Hill. I'm the founder and managing partner of Thrive Law. We're a Leeds-based firm and I set Thrive up about 5 years ago. In fact, it's 5 years today, on the day that I'm recording this. And the idea behind Thrive is that we are a law firm that's founded on the principles of diversity, inclusion and mental health. So the idea being that we're not only a law firm, but we also support with education and training around those very important areas. So I was diagnosed with ADHD in 2020, and the reason it was a late diagnosis, I think, is because partly I was masking, as we know that women often will hide some of their symptoms through masking because they're trying to fit in, but also because I was being treated for anxiety and for PTSD. So because of those two things, it wasn't until we slowed down in the lockdown that I realised my brain was not slowing down at all, and I sought a private assessment and was diagnosed. Now, since the diagnosis, I've actually found it really positive, and the reason for that is because I've been able to be more self-aware, been able to understand why I behave in certain ways, why my brain works very differently to others, and trying then to embrace those differences rather than chastising myself and punishing myself for not being the same as everyone else, and also for letting myself down and that kind of mindset. So it's been a really positive experience for me in the sense that I've struggled for many years and just thought that I was just not very good at things, and actually it turns out that I'm really good at loads of things, but I'm not very good at certain things which people find easy who are neurotypical. So the way that I have embraced that is actually by creating an environment in my workplace that is a culture of support, understanding and acceptance, so we can all show up as our true selves here at Thrive Law, but also thinking about how do I work best. So we have this thing called a license to thrive, and that is our document, that is our license to thrive and be the best person that we can be in the workplace. So how we do that is by understanding how we communicate best, what motivates us, and things like adjustments that I need. So I have noise cancelling headphones, and I consider working on my own most of the time to be the best way to work. However, I also really need to have buddies, body doubling in certain situations, but it depends on how my brain is that day. So it's not as predictable as I need this adjustment or I want this thing to be put in place on a permanent basis. I think what I found the most useful is being as self-aware as I can and then effectively communicating that to my team and to my clients. So most of the time I'm working from home, I have some time in the office, and I structure my days in a way that supports my wired very differently brain, and it allows me to work at my best and be my best. So rather than trying to fit a circle into a square peg, I'm actually creating that circle environment for myself so that I'm literally thriving at work. So I'd say my greatest achievements with having had ADHD is actually getting this far without any support, and getting this far in a neurotypical world without even knowing that that was a challenge for me. Knowing that I had challenges, but not really knowing what it was. So my greatest achievement would be getting through all of those challenges, including doing a law degree and training as a barrister, and then cross-qualifying to be a solicitor, and then launching my own law firm. I think collectively they are my greatest achievements, and I'm really proud of how far I've come because I'm able to talk about that quite openly and to just appreciate the position that I'm in now, where I have an amazing culture and an environment where I can be my true self, and I can have up days, down days, and work differently, and that's embraced. For those people who are not neurodiverse and want to understand more, is ask the questions, see how you can support other people, how can you help, listen, and be mindful that sometimes people might, I come across sometimes as really rude because I interrupt, but the reality is I'm just so excited to answer the question and help in a way that I can. So think about the different ways in which people communicate, think about the way that we as human beings are all cognitively different anyway, and then those people who are neurodiverse have additional challenges. So try to be more mindful of that and to support those individuals in the workplace. And if you've got someone in your team who particularly struggles with a certain task, then and play to their strengths. Why would you make somebody try and do something that you know is something that they struggle with? Find the areas of their particular role or something in that workplace that actually makes them thrive, rather than simply just ticking on and trying to do as much as they can in their role, and when you can see that they're really struggling. And sometimes when we're neurodiverse, we don't have that self-awareness, so we need other people to support us with that. The biggest thing for me would be, if you are thinking that you are neurodiverse and you haven't had a diagnosis yet, or there's someone in your team that's struggling, is to try and open that dialogue and destigmatise these conversations, because it is really, really important that we all embrace each other's differences. Thank you for listening to this video, and I hope you have a great event.